why not Rome? Rome is a place where art has always, it's ever present, everywhere where you look.
Welcome to Ciao Bella, hosted by me, Erica Firpo, a travel journalist based in Rome. Each episode of Ciao Bella, I sit down with Italy's creators, contemporary artists and artisans, designers, culinary experts, heritage brands, and innovative aesthetes, and more who are defining and redefining 21st century Italy. Pull up a chair and join in. Hey, welcome back to Ciao Bella. Today I'm in Rome with Paulina Babecca, the director-at-large of Postmaster Gallery. Hey.
Hello, everybody.
Actually, it's Postmasters, isn't it plural?
Postmasters, yes.
Okay, I forgot the S at the end.
Yes, after the masters.
Well, I'm so happy to have you here, but I think everybody is going to be wondering, what is Postmasters Gallery and why am I so excited about it?
Well, I can tell you a few things. So Postmasters Gallery is a gallery that was founded in 1984 in New York City by Magda Sałon and Tomasz Banowicz, and they are running the gallery in New York. I've been working with them since 2006 in New York, and then after more than 11 years, I moved to Rome, and we made an agreement that I will start the branch here, which is called Postmasters Roma. Very appropriately, because we are in Roma.
Well, Postmasters, that everybody, you were very, very humble when you said Postmasters is one of the pioneering galleries in New York, which is a big deal, and it's contemporary art.
Right, and it's also been around for almost 40 years, and very contemporary art. Since the very early 90s, they have been showing digital art and working with artists that work with net art, digital art, internet, post-internet, all the internety things, and also now NFTs, and that is something that we will get on the topic in a little while.
We're going to talk about that. So tell me, why Rome?
Well, that is a good question. Why not? First of all, Postmasters also is a gallery that doesn't really follow the traditional ways of an art gallery. We kind of do what we want, and we believe strongly in the program that we show. So why not Rome? Rome is a place where art has always, it's ever present, it's everywhere where you look. So it's maybe not the obvious choice. Maybe Berlin or London, Paris would have been better if in terms of the traditional gallery ways of expanding, but I think Rome has a beautiful, not only potential, it has beautiful history to build from the contemporary art situation.
Well, I think I was so happy when I found out that you guys were here because, like you said, it's not the obvious choice. I think a lot of people, when they come to Rome, are not coming to Rome for contemporary art.
Exactly.
They're coming for the ancients, they're coming for Baroque, Renaissance. But there was a point in the late 60s and 70s that they were coming to Rome for contemporary art. It had a great scene, and then it kind of died down. And I love, as you know, because when I met you, I was like, I'm so happy to meet you, and I love contemporary.
Yes, me too.
And I fangirled you. But there was, you know, it's a small scene here.
It's a small scene, but it's growing, and every single year I see more and more international galleries coming, more international artists coming, Italian artists coming back from being outside of Italy. So the art scene here is growing every single day, and everybody's very excited to see what more can we do over here.
Tell us a little bit about where the gallery is, because that's the other choice. Like the first choice, the fact that you guys chose to come to Rome, I was like, yes, and surprised, but also the location.
Well, the location, we are close to the Colosseum in Colopio on Via Crescimbeni 11, if you want to find us. And it's a beautiful space because it's also not a traditional place. It's L-shaped, it's about 250 square meters, it's pretty large. And that
you guys are near, because I know you're just behind Via La Picana.
Yes.
And I know you're near a temple to Iside, which is in antiquity. Okay, I'm not going to get this history correct, but let's just say Egyptian cultish temple in antiquity. So
that area historically, I mean, you're below the Anishinaabe. I mean, it's antiquity-wise, it's old. That's the other reason why I love that you're right there.
Also, it's very close to where really the Christian church has begun, because this palazzo was given by a king to the Catholic Church to start building their beautiful basilica. I don't know, I don't remember what it's called exactly.
You're talking about the San Giovanni, or
the San Giovanni? Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
You're right down the street. I mean,
and the Santa Scala, and it's literally the property of the Vatican over there.
Oh wow!
Yeah, which is very also interesting.
I mean,
it's a different country.
It's a different. I mean, it's really cool because I love that street because it's also, I like the fact that it's just behind. It's just below Mecenati, just above La Becana, behind the Coleopio. So we're in ancient Rome. It's ancient
Rome, exactly.
But it's also a really modern street, and I think your building. I mean, that railroad kind of shape of this long tunnel is, I don't know what it was. It's like built into the hill. It's really cool.
It's built inside the hill, exactly. And I don't know, maybe it was a place where they stored horses or stables or maybe something else. I don't know, back in the day. Now it's a gallery, and yes, it's a very special place.
So when did you guys open it here?
So, well, and that is also quite complicated because when I first moved here, I did a few shows around Rome in different places, and then I was asked to do an exhibition together with this amazing curatorial duo. Who actually had this space on Via Crescimbeni. They're called the Orange Garden, and they're really, really fantastic, cool guys, young, super energetic, and they wanted to do an exhibition that talks about the experience of being a woman. And they asked me basically, we are two guys doing a show about women, maybe that's not a great idea, so why don't you help us and let's do it together. And we did the show together. And then they said that they wanted to basically ask if I wanted the space because they want to expand and do other things in London, other places. And so it was kind of bestowed upon me by these two young Romans. So I was very grateful to have that, and of course I jumped on the chance because the space is fantastic. It's super high ceilings. The space is very large, so very large. I mean, it's not gigantic, but
it's a great gallery space.
It's really
great.
Let's
be upfront. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really great. So that was that, and then we managed to do 3 exhibitions, and then the pandemic hit, and so that was quite.
I think my dog just snored on your lap.
Yes.
She's so comfortable with you.
Yes, she's sleeping over here. And so during the pandemic, of course, we had to be closed, and then it was such a confusing time that we did a couple things in between, and then only last year we started again slowly, and we started with a show of Sarah Burns, a young artist from California.
Now tell me, I mean, I know it's probably, again, we're still just getting out of the pandemic, but what's programming like for you? Is it, every 2 months? Are you changing shows every 6 months?
Well, so now this is what we're trying to figure out after the pandemic to get back on track to doing a series scheduling, that we will have shows every month and a half to every 2 months, and exhibition. And so now in May 17th, we will open an exhibition of a Brazilian Canadian artist that is also embedded into the Roman art scene, intellectual scene. Her name is Sheila Ribeiro, and the exhibition is called Neither Geographical Nor National, and it's a show about places, but places in terms of what is a place really. It could be a person, it could be a feeling, it could be a location, it could be a street, it could be a color, it could be fashion, it could be language, and it's quite on time, I think, because at the moment we also don't know what our place is. Where are we? We were
space and place has definitely become a lot more ephemeral, let's say.
Absolutely. And so the show will be consisting of collages, small, beautiful, extraordinary collages, and a film made from these collages.
Oh, very cool.
And it takes place in different places.
So, a question that my listeners might have is, can you just walk into your gallery? Do you have to make an appointment? How does that work?
Yes, you can walk in when we are open. So it's best to check on the website whether we have an exhibition. If we don't have an exhibition, then we are in between, so probably not much to see.
Do you have does Postmasters Rome have its own Instagram account, or is it part of the whole?
Yes, we do.
How would I? What's your Instagram profile?
It's Postmasters Roma.
Hey, easy.
Easy. So Postmasters plural Roma.
So that's another great way just to see what you're doing, what you've done, and to find out when the shows are.
Absolutely. We also share what they are doing in New York and what our artists are doing all over the world. If they have a museum exhibition, we definitely share those news and images because we are very proud of them every time that they do something extraordinary.
Well, one of the cool things was when I met you, you had an artist in residence who didn't have a show yet.
He was working on it.
Nicola Verlato, right?
Yes, Nicola Verlato.
And he was working. You took me to the back, and you were like, he's working, and this is his studio right now. So we're behind the scenes, and I got to see some stuff, not knowing what a big show would be. And you were telling me, oh, he's going to have a show at the Terme di Tiziano, the Baths of Diocletian. And sure enough, last month they opened up this. I mean, first of all, we should also stress, when you told me that they were going to have it at the Baths of Diocletian, I was like, are you kidding me? Because that is an incredible archaeological site. It's historic, which means it's not that easy to have a show, much less a contemporary art show in there.
Absolutely, and he has been working on this exhibition for a really long time, and so the fact that he made it happen is really incredible, and it's running through June 13th or July 13th. I have to check.
You have to check.
I have to check.
But that was really cool to be able to see like the fruit, the fruition of your fruits. I don't know if you can see that.
Right, and so the show is fantastic. It's in the Terme di Diocletiano, and it's all about Pasolini. Right now we have the centennial of his birth, so there's many events happening about Pasolini. But for Verlato, for Nicola Verlato, Pasolini has always been this figure, interesting person who inspired him in many different ways. So the exhibition is about Pier Paolo Pasolini, and specifically his last day on Earth, and so painting, sculptures, drawings, and NFTs.
We're going to talk about NFTs in one quick second, but you just reminded me of something that I think is really cool about you, is that you're not bound to your gallery in the sense that you curate and create incredible shows for Postmasters, for that beautiful space. But you also with, like, for example, what was it in Palazzo Brancaccio? You had a show. So what for you is that? Are you doing, what's life like for you artistically? Are you doing shows off site? Are you doing? Give us a little entry into the world of Paolina.
Oh, okay. Well, so as I said, the Postmasters Gallery is not very traditional in the sense that we do what we want to do, and I have a beautiful relationship with the founders of the gallery, and so they have entrusted me with this Roman adventure. And here, what I do for the gallery is I find new artists. We do exhibitions. It's more of a project space in a way that we are not bound by only showing the artists that we represent, which we also show here in Rome. But I also am able to find artists and have them in New York. And so, for example, with Nicola Verlato, we have made that possible, that he has had a solo exhibition in New York, which was actually during the pandemic, which was very, very interesting. He wasn't able to go because you couldn't go between, but his work was able to go to New York. And so also, sometimes I do curate other exhibitions outside because it's always fun. The most fun that we have at our job is curating the exhibitions. This is what really makes us get up in the morning, and me just the same. It's when I'm doing an exhibition, I am the happiest person on earth.
Oh, that's such a great feeling. I like hearing that.
It really is.
Now I'm going to get into NFTs because we dallied around it. So when I met you, it was great because what was the name of the artist at the show? It was it a Polish artist?
Where? Which show?
At Postmasters, when I first met you, there were the big pieces.
Oh yes, it was Radek Szlaga.
And then the show was great, and then we're walking through. You're like, I have an artist in the back, and then as I'm leaving, you're like, yeah, and Postmasters BC. I was like, what? And you're like, yeah, we do NFTs, and I to be honest, I mean, so I know Postmasters as a gallery in New York. I now know it as a gallery in Rome, but I don't know why. When you were like, yeah, we have a whole NFT thing, and I was just like, really? It just kind of blew my mind. But in doing a little research, you guys had, and you told me Kevin McCoy was the one. I guess he set it up with you.
Well, Kevin McCoy, we have been working with Jennifer and Kevin McCoy for the past 20 years or more. We have done many, many exhibitions with them.
So before he ever created the first NFT?
Absolutely, exactly. And in 2013, he started this company called Monograph, and it was the purpose was to put an artwork, to explore the art world and blockchain together. And so Kevin put his artwork and animation on the blockchain in 2014 at a conference, and it was the first time that it was ever done. So this was literally the first NFT ever created, the first artwork on blockchain, and it was sold last year at Sotheby's for about $1.5 million, which is great. And also, yes, so we work with Kevin and Jennifer.
And then you have, I think, about 30 artists that on the Postmasters Block BC site, correct?
Right, the postmastersblockchain.com, Postmasters BC. We have artists that we have been working with for decades. We have artists that we have just started working with that are NFT artists. We have artists that were digital artists. We have artists that have created digital works in the 90s before anything happened. And so, the thing about the NFT actually is that it is a tool. There's no NFT art.
Okay, yeah, because we need to, for the people who can't wrap their heads around it, which is sometimes me at times, my first question just is, no, I'm not going to interrupt you again. I know what an NFT is, and what an NFT for me is basically like the authentication of digital, the authentication, that's my teeth talking, of ownership, like validated through blockchain. Is that correct?
Basically, yes, exactly. It's the authentication of the transaction basically it's a certificate of authenticity, but on blockchain, so it cannot be altered. You see exactly specifically who has the actual piece. It is attached to a smart contract that tells you the terms and conditions and what can happen. You can put anything in your smart contract as well. And for example, anything. I mean, if somebody wants to sell an artwork and then the buyer says that the buyer has the right to have dinner with the artist, that could be in the contract, and that's that. So it could be the artwork, it could be the artwork plus something, it could be literally anything, but it's there. So it's there, visible online by everybody, and when the ownership gets passed down to the next owner, that's recorded as well, and nobody can alter it. So it really is a really wonderful tool. There is no NFT art because the NFT is a tool. There's no certificate of authenticity art. I mean, maybe yes, but that's a conceptual artwork.
So I think that's the thing that people try to wrap their heads around. I think maybe like a lot of people say to me, NFTs are like, well, they know Bored Ape. Right. They know the images. Like they look at NFTs and they automatically assume it has to be like this hyper digital image.
It doesn't have to be. You can NFT also the glass of water. You can NFT
You can NFT a concept.
Yes, absolutely. Right? Yeah. Yes, you can NFT anything. It really boils down to this contract, and that's what it is. So NFTs for me is a tool, and so you can attach it to any digital work, and that I think gives more confidence to buyers that it cannot be reproduced, or at least that they own the original file. Which,
So conceivably, just sorry to interrupt, but so conceivably, like, you can own a digital file of X artwork. You can give me a copy. You can like send me an email of it, right?
right?
So I have a copy of it, but
Right.
but and even though I have it, it's not mine.
It's not yours,
Okay.
and it protects me as the owner because I'm the only one who can sell it because this NFT is attached to this file, and it's attached to my wallet, which has a specific address, and you can trace it back to me. And then if somebody else tries to do it, you can verify the file, whether it's the original or not, and whether the file is that particular one that lives in a certain place that is specified by this contract. So it's really a tool for safekeeping, I believe.
Okay.
You know, like, that's like the basic way of understanding it. For me, also.
Do you have to work in digital art to make an NFT?
No, absolutely not. You can, as I said before, you can NFT anything. So you
Right.
can NFT your sculpture, you can NFT something, but then the processes are a little bit different because then that it has to be specified in the contract that the NFT is not the image of the piece, but it's the actual piece. That it has to come with a physical piece. So it's all written in there. It's all written in there, but I think it's a fantastic tool for digital art, specifically where all the worries of reproduction have been prohibiting people from collecting.
Ah, interesting. No, I think that's great, actually.
It's kind of like with photographs back in the day that people were like, well, everybody can make a print of it. Well, yes and no.
No, you're absolutely right. I think the hard thing with NFTs is I find the whole thing fascinating because for me it's conceptual art. In a super 21st century, even 22nd century way of looking at things.
Right.
And it does require, a leap of faith, so to speak. And when I say leap of faith, sorry, I'm thinking specifically of Yves Klein when he did Jump into the Void. It requires the jump into the void,
Right.
And if nobody knows what that is, please Google it.
Yes, which is also a photographic manipulation.
Exactly. And that's the other thing. There's a humor level to it, like, but it's also, it's conceptual. But I do think it really helps artists as well to understand the value that they put into their work.
Yes, for sure. I wanted to also say that there are many different, I don't want to say levels, but the different kind of camps of NFT world, basically. And so there's these Bored Apes, and then there's also digital art that originally is digital art, basically, from the beginning. Not created for the NFT market, but the NFT is attached to it for the safekeeping.
It's created for the technology of it, and now retroactively to some degree.
And so there's different levels, and so what we are trying to accomplish, we actually started the Postmasters blockchain last year in May 2021.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that recent.
So it was already, well, Tomasz has been working on it for a long time to create a platform, because our platform, we are able to mint our own NFTs. So we have the technology to mint it and to make the smart contracts.
So this is
special.
So that's the other thing that I think, that term mint, it's not quite as simple as putting it up on your computer, because you're talking about blockchain technology, which is essentially what cryptocurrency is run off of. And so that takes a certain level of computing and a certain amount of systems.
Right, and so that is something that we are very proud of, because our contracts and our minting processes are actually safer for the collectors and the artists and us and everybody around, because from the beginning of having these conversations about NFTs, things have been starting to pop out from these other platforms that could be quite sneaky, and I don't really want to get into it. It's research to be done for everybody, but there are little catches like the platforms retaining copyrights, which was an issue back in the day, and I'm not sure how it has resolved itself at the moment. But when you sell an artwork, when you own an artwork by an artist, the artist always keeps the copyright,
Yep.
which is very important. And so for that to pass on to a platform, that is absolutely unbelievable. That doesn't happen with us, for example. And so we specifically have created these contracts. You can if you go on our website, thepostmastersblockchain.com, there is a link to the contract, to the standard contract that we have. So you can literally see what is inside the contract, and it can be modified in any way.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I didn't realize you could do that. I mean, I've been on this site and I've been looking at the artwork and I'm looking at the artists because I think, and I hate to say this, I am a traditionalist. I don't know if that's the right word when it comes to art. I like physical.
Right.
But I love conceptual art, but I do have to say, given the opportunity to have an NFT versus, I don't know. I mean, it brings up a lot of conversations.
Absolutely. No, it's very interesting because I also think that now the Postmasters in New York, they've opened an exhibition of Olive Allen, and she is NFT native, let's say. And the show's title is Welcome to the Metaverse. And so the gallery space became the metaverse IRL. It's kind of passing on to the real life experience of the metaverse, of what it could be. And so the space literally is painted as if you went inside the metaverse. But what is really a metaverse, and who is it for, and why is it there? It's a world full of possibilities and infinite possibilities. But then again, what it will become is going to become just another place that corporations are telling you to be inside and selling you things that you don't really need. What is it? And so by going into the gallery, which took over the whole space, and the gallery in New York is gigantic, it's like 4,500 square feet of the metaverse. And so it's a kind of a gamified experience when you walk into the gallery. So
this sounds like a lot of fun.
So it's a lot of fun. There's this giant teddy bear and very small little bears, and of course NFTs and creations of Olive Allen, who is an extraordinary artist. She made headlines recently where she burned her Russian passport in front of the Russian embassy in New York, and NFT'd that. And sold it in hopes for aid for Ukraine. So that was the recent thing she did, and so she is a very, very bright and extraordinary artist that is a digital NFT native, as we can call her.
You know what I love about talking to you is that earlier you said Rome and contemporary, there's so many possibilities and potential here, and you're already seeing it. And hearing that's what I hear from you, just talking about what Postmasters is doing, what Postmasters is doing here. And I really think it's great because I think it's a dynamic of the city that, again, we said earlier, is as of yet undiscovered, or not even undiscovered. It's just a dynamic of the city that's, for whatever reasons, isn't in the forefront. And it's great that you guys are bringing it to the forefront. Now, I want to ask you, because we can't just talk about Postmasters, I just want to ask you, what are some of the galleries you like in Rome that you would suggest our listeners, if they're coming, they're going to go to Postmasters, they're going to make sure it's open, but what else? What galleries do you like to check out?
So there are a few galleries that I really like, and I try to go to all the shows, or some of the shows, as I can. So one of the galleries is Monitor Gallery, and they always do wonderful exhibitions, and they are in the city center. There's a young gallery called White Noise, which is literally across the street from you.
Is it the one on Via dei Specchi?
I don't know the street name, but it's a very small little gallery, and they're always bringing very nice young artists as well. So I really wish them well, and also the museums here are very exceptional. The show that I just saw, the Palazzo delle Esposizioni, it's all about video art, And
I wanted to ask you about that.
it's a really fantastic exhibition. It really is. And with wonderful artists, historic artists as well. Like Studio Azzurro, Donato Piccolo, there's many others.
Oh, really?
Many other artists over there, and there are works that are absolutely mesmerizing, that you are stunned that they were made in the 80s, because they could have been made now, and they have this extraordinary effect on you. So that is always a great place to see.
I love the space in Palazzo delle Esposizioni.
Yes.
I think there are many exhibitions that should be held there that I envision in my head.
Yes, and they are very daring also. During the pandemic, Miltos Manetas, who is an artist that is based in Rome, he's from Greece, also based in Colombia. He is also an internet artist. In the 90s, he made a giant career with his internet paintings. And we also work with him. Actually, Magda and Tomasz in New York, they showed him in the 90s.
Oh, wow.
So we have a long history with him as well.
I saw him on the NFTs as well.
And he is on an NFTs, exactly. And
I used to see him around a lot at the Macro in Rome.
Exactly, and also he had a show at Maxi, and at the Palazzo delle Esposizioni, they let him do an exhibition about Assange during the pandemic. And so the show was in the Palazzo delle Esposizioni, but you couldn't go inside because Assange is in jail. So also the art is in jail, and you couldn't see it, and you could only see it through Miltos's experience.
That's pretty funny.
And so I really appreciate that space, that they are daring and they do extraordinary things.
Well, okay, so White Noise, Palazzo delle Esposizioni, Monitor. I mean, there are so many. I'm so glad. Thank you for sharing the ones that you like.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, there's so many more, but.
Well, yeah, we can list, there are tons and tons, and I think that is yet to discover a bit. I'm glad to hear the ones that you've shown out.
Right, and also
I don't even know what language I'm speaking.
There's also Magazzino. That's always one.
By the way, did Magazzino open something in Venice? I got this weird.
They did collaborate on something.
Okay.
And they definitely were supporters of something, which I don't remember.
Because I got this email and I was like, oh, is that Magazzino from Rome? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And of course, Volcan O'Neill. I mean.
Yeah, look, there are tons of great galleries. My favorite space, I will say, is I love the Galleria Nazionale.
Right.
Because I'm like obsessed with the architecture, and I like how Kolu has reconfigured the whole collection. And the most important thing
I love that place. Exactly.
But the most important thing is, and this is why I wanted you to speak with me to begin with, is that there is a lot of contemporary art to see in Rome. There's a lot of modern art, and there's a lot of there's a contemporary art scene here.
Well, you have to start with the Maxi, first of all. I mean, it's the museum for contemporary art.
Exactly.
And what they do is fantastic. And they are in the metaverse. They literally are. They have another place for Maxi. And I always make a mistake with what the name is. It's outside of Rome. L'Aquila, exactly. And they have put that building into the metaverse. So I can send you a link also to it, that you could go inside.
Oh yeah, please.
Go inside and see the facade, the beautiful facade of this space. And for me, it's absolutely exceptional that they are very, very interested. And of course, this is Bartolomeo Pietro Marchi that is heading the way into the metaverse for the Maxi, which I am very, very happy to know that there are people here in Rome. You would think that, yes, ancient Rome, what does it have to do with the metaverse? But it turns out everything.
Well, thank you so much for bringing Postmasters here, and thank you for coming and joining me in this
Thank you so much for having me. This was super fun. I'm very happy.
We'll do this again.
Okay, wonderful.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Ciao Bella. If you'd like to know more about today's guest, please visit ciaobella.co and click on the podcast link, or go directly to ciaobella.co/podcast. Want more Italy? You can find all my episodes on iTunes and Spotify and Stitcher. When you have time, subscribe to iTunes and rate the podcast. What are you waiting for? And if you want to be part of the podcast, email me or DM me your Italy questions. To learn more about me and my work, go to my website, ericafirpo.com, and follow my Italy adventures on Instagram at ericafirpo. Ciao, Bella! And a very big thank you and hug to Massimiliano Yonta, the producers of Ciao Bella, who continue to make me sound and feel great.